So just had this pull to come to the park and just start recording. I was talking to an ex-colleague of mine earlier and gave some advice which I'm taking right now and applying it more consciously without effort. And it's something that we all probably do from when we're children, where you're acting on your natural desire and there's no block. There's this energy that wants to move, that's coming through your body. So it's coming from your soul into your body, into your mind and into your body, and it wants to express itself. And the soul is love. At our deepest core, we are all pure love, with no tinge of fear or darkness. And then as we get older, this conditioning comes over us, what we might call the ego, the egoic mind, based in fear and doubt and lack. Basically, words and feelings that describe a false reality. So rather than seeing reality, we're seeing a mental projection, something that isn't real, like believing in the monster in the cupboard, or thinking the mirage to be water when actually it's just a mirage. So the mirage itself is real, but it's not actually water, and that's the illusion. And the ego operates much the same way. And when we let things come and flow through us naturally from that space of love, our true self, one, it not only nourishes us, but it nourishes everybody else. It feels loving, it feels compassionate, it feels kind, expansive, liberating. And that's who we were all along. Because when those negative feelings stop, what are we left with? We're left with peace and joy and happiness, our true nature. And the process of meditation and yoga and various other practices are aimed at developing the awareness of our true self, and discerning the difference between ego and our true self. Like, how do you know? Well, you know because you won't feel fulfilled, and life seems like a drag, when actually it's absolutely beautiful and stunning. So discerning between the egoic voice and the voice of the soul, our true self. Sometimes, if we're not aware as to the difference, we can end up accumulating and believing in things that aren't real, and that's what is conditioning, and that's irrespective of your age. Once you recognize that this is going on, you can relinquish belief in false ideas and false things like I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or I can't make it, or life is meant to be a struggle and hard work, and I must suffer, I must sacrifice. Love is pain, and and being kind and compassionate gets you screwed over. And that's because we see ourselves as limited in the first place. And when we do, and then something happens and we act lovingly, and then somebody might do something that we might not consider loving, we feel threatened because we've already associated ourselves falsely with something that's in lack. But when we recognize how powerful we are, which the process of yoga can assist with, then we recognize that we are beyond conception. We are beyond our bodies, we are beyond our character. And those that don't believe it, it's because they don't see their own power just yet. And all the self-realized masters over the years, the ancient yogis and the sages and the saints, all saw this and knew this. And my favorite example is Jesus. And he went to the cross willingly, knowing that he couldn't die, and just did it like a boss, and just went and still was loving and kind and compassionate and forgiving. And his teachings for me, alongside other teachings like the teachings of yoga and Advaita Vedanta and the Bhagavad Gita, they're the ones that resonate with me the most. But the truth is the truth, and to know it, to know reality, is to see it. And that reality is there whether you believe in it or not. So whether you believe in gravity or not, it's still working. It is what it is. But you cannot believe it if you don't want to. So it's not a matter of belief. Initially it might be, but then once you experience it, that belief becomes it becomes knowledge, it becomes certain. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for direct experience as opposed to just a mere blind belief. But we have to keep the door open. We have to first know, okay, maybe this thing is true. Maybe it is true that I am whole, complete, not lacking anything, worthy of love, wholly lovable. And when we keep that door open, that's when reality can dawn upon us. But we must create space. We must recognize the thoughts which are nonsensical. Like, I can't do this. Like, I'm guilty. Or I'm a sinner, and I'm forever a sinner, and I can't correct my mistakes. But that's all false. Yes, we might have made mistakes before, we might have hurt people. But true forgiveness is what heals. And yes, when we don't know what we're doing, then we can be forgiven. Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. I mean, what an absolute G. Incredible, right? So the message I shared with my ex-colleague was just let things flow. First discern between your true voice and the voice of the ego. Once you recognize the voice of the ego, you can relinquish that, and then the true voice is able to come through unimpeded. And it doesn't matter what you then do, because if you're not doing it as an end goal, it just becomes an expression, and your life becomes a work of art, like music or poetry or a painting. And that's what I'm going to start doing now more freely, because I feel like I've broken free from the conditioning that was holding me back. And I used to make these videos in an attempt to get followers and make some money and make a living. Now I'm just putting it out there because it's a natural expression of who I am, using the platform of my my smartphone and YouTube. So thank you to everybody that was involved in the creation of these wonderful tools that we have. And for me, life is a canvas. Our entire life is a expression either of fear or the ego or love. And to see that divinity within yourself is to then express it outwardly, and that's when the world will reflect that back to you. And that's what I'm starting to see now. But what a journey it's been, the journey of healing. Healing does come to an end. Don't let anybody tell you that healing doesn't end. So what's the point if you're never going to heal? Why would you even bother to heal? You might as well just go on a crazy bender, right? Just go and get high and do whatever. Go hella crazy. But healing does come to an end. There is a state where you move from healing into full creation and expression mode. So keep going. You will get there. And I believe that. And guess what? I feel like I'm actually getting there. Like, really do feel incredible. And it's not just because I'm special, not because, I practice yoga or breathe a certain way, I do meditation, or have a certain body or whatever. None of that. It's because we're all equal in that regard. We're all worthy. And if anybody tells you that you're not, well, it's because they consider themselves to be not worthy. They're also worthy. It's just they might not see it. And that's the voice of the ego, which can seem so real when it's so close to you. But dig even deeper. Anyway, that's me. I am going to continue my beautiful walk through Queen's Park in Bolton. God bless everyone.